Stoics read affection, what their eyes are really saying. Introduction. The silent language of the Stoic gaze. There are moments in life when words fall short. If you sit across from someone you care about, yet instead of a flood of compliments or romantic phrases, what you notice is their gaze. Their eyes seem steady, calm, almost unreadable. To many, this silence feels cold, distant, or detached. But to the Stoics, the gaze is not an absence of affectionate. Is affection refined? Affection disciplined? Affection expressed in its purest and most controlled form? Stoicism has long been misunderstood as a philosophy of emotional suppression. People imagine Marcus Aurelius or Epictetus as statues of stone, unmoved by joy, untouched by sorrow, incapable of love. But that is far from the truth. Stoicism does not deny the reality of feelings, simply seeks to master them, so they do, not master us. And nowhere is this mastery more visible than in the eyes. If you have ever wondered whether a Stoic person loves, whether they care deeply though they speak little, this journey is for you. We will uncover what the Stoic gaze truly means, why it can be so difficult to interpret, and how learning this hidden language of affection can transform the way you see not only others, but also yourself. Part 1. The Stoic misunderstanding. Why silence is not absence. Most people grow up equating affection with visible gestures, smiles, hugs, compliments, and expressive eyes. When someone seems quiet or restrained, the instinctive interpretation is distance. In relationships, this becomes a source of pain. Partners of Stoic individuals may ask, "Why don't you ever say you love me?" Or, "Why don't you show excitement when I surprise you?" But Stoicism teaches us that love is not measured by its noise. Love is measured by its presence, its reliability, its strength under pressure. A Stoic man or woman may not always be the loudest in affection, but they are often the most enduring. Their eyes may not sparkle with dramatic expressions, but they hold something subtler: steadiness. It is the gaze of someone who has trained themselves not to be swayed by every fleeting emotion, who chooses instead to let affection reveal itself through patience, loyalty, and calm presence. The misunderstanding happens because our culture has taught us to value performance over depth. But affection is not always meant to be a performance. Sometimes it is meant to be lived quietly, steadily, faithfully. Part 2. The eyes as the window of controlled affection. The eyes never lies, the saying goes. But in Stoic individuals, the truth they reveal is not obvious to the untrained observer. Unlike others whose pupils dilate widely at attraction, or whose gaze softens visibly in romance, Stoics practice a discipline of restraint. Their affection does not vanish. It simply hides behind a veil of composure. When you look into the eyes of a Stoic person, you may notice three things. Stillness. Their gaze does not dart nervously, nor does it linger in exaggerated passion. It is steady, like water in a calm lake. This steadiness communicates respect, attention, and grounding, powerful forms of love often overlooked. Focus. Stoics are trained to be present. When they look at you, their eyes are not wandering around the room searching for distraction. Their gaze tells you, "I am here. You matter enough to hold my attention." Wait. A Stoic gaze carries gravity. It is not careless or flippant. It makes you feel as if what you are saying has value, as if your existence itself deserves acknowledgement. This is affection in action, even if it does not resemble the romantic intensity we see in movies. To misread this as indifference is to miss the richness of Stoic love. Their eyes are saying, "I am with you," not just in fleeting passion, but in enduring presence. Part 3. Why Stoics hide their affection in plain sight. Why do Stoics resist outward emotional display? To understand this, we must look at the roots of Stoic philosophy. Stoics believe that emotions are natural but dangerous when left unchecked. Anger can destroy friendships. Fear can paralyze us. Desire can make us reckless. Even joy, if it turns into dependency, can make us slaves to circumstance. The Stoics' mission is not to kill these emotions, but to discipline them, much like a rider disciplines a wild horse. Affection, then, is not absent in the Stoic. It is transformed. Instead of loud declarations, Stoics prefer to let love show through action, through loyalty, through quiet endurance. Their eyes reflect this philosophy. They avoid overly dramatic displays, not because they don't feel, but because they feel deeply and want their love to be stable, not impulsive. When you see the Stoic gaze, you are seeing affection disguised as strength. It is not a lack of emotion, it is a reordering of emotion, one that places stability and virtue above temporary performance. Asterisk Part 4. The pain of misinterpretation. Of course, its restraint often comes at a cost. Many people misinterpret Stoic affection as disinterest. A partner may feel unloved simply because they cannot read the eyes of their Stoic loved one. They long for sparkling expressions, for exaggerated softness, for dramatic gestures. When they do not receive it, they may assume, he doesn't love me. She doesn't care about me. This misinterpretation can lead to distance, conflict, or even the breakdown of relationships. The tragedy is that Stoic individuals often feel love more deeply than most. They simply express it differently. And when their love is misunderstood, they may retreat further, believing that no one truly understands the sincerity of their heart. Learning to read Stoic eyes is therefore not just a philosophical exercise. It is an act of compassion. It allows us to recognize love where love has always been, but in a quieter form. Asterisk Part 5. Practical ways to read the Stoic gaze if you live with, love, or interact with a Stoic individual. Here are some ways you can begin to understand what their eyes are really saying. Look for consistency. Their gaze may not be flamboyant, but is it steady over time? A Stoic person who truly cares will look at you with the same calm presence every day, not just in moments of passion. Notice attention. Do their eyes remain with you when you speak? A Stoic gaze that does not wander communicates, I value your presence. Feel the calm. Instead of seeking sparks, notice whether their eyes bring you peace. Stoic affection often soothes rather than excites it, reassures you that you are safe and valued. Match their language. Stoics often love through action. If their eyes seem hard to read, look at how their daily behaviors align. Do they show up for you? Do they remain loyal when times are hard? Their gaze, paired with consistent action, reveals more love than words ever could. Part 6. Applying Stoic lessons at home. This understanding is not just about reading someone else's eyes. It is also about practicing Stoic love yourself. You may ask, how can I apply this in my own home, in my relationships, in my daily life? Practice presence. When speaking with your spouse, your child, or your friend, put the phone down. Look at them steadily. Let your eyes communicate, you matter. Replace drama with depth. Instead of chasing grand gestures, practice quiet consistency. A steady gaze at the dinner table. A calm look of reassurance during conflict often speaks louder than flowery words. Learn to receive quiet love. If your partner expresses affection stoically, train yourself to recognize it. Instead of demanding performance, look for presence. Instead of craving drama, embrace steadiness, balance expression. While Stoicism teaches restraint, balance is key. Learn when to let your love show more openly. Sometimes, offering a smile, a soft gaze, or gentle words can bridge the gap between Stoic silence and emotional need. Applying these principles transforms not only your relationships, but also the atmosphere of your home. The Stoic gaze becomes not just a philosophy, but a living practice of affection. Asterisk. Part 7. The deeper lesson. Love as stability at its core. The Stoic gaze teaches us that love is not always about intensity, it is about endurance. Passion may burn brightly for a moment, but stability carries us through the years. The eyes of a Stoic person remind us that love is not proven by fireworks, but by the steady flame that does not flicker even in the storm. When you learn to read affection in this way, you begin to see love everywhere quietly in the gaze of point. Of a parent in the steady attention of a friend, in the calm loyalty of a partner. Affection is not absent. It is simply quieter, deeper, more enduring. Conclusion: the quiet power of the Stoic gaze when you look into the eyes of a Stoic person. What you see is not emptiness, it is strength. What you feel is not indifference, it is depth. Eyes are not hiding love from you. They are teaching you a new way to understand it. Love does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it is written in the calm weight of a gaze that says, "I am here. I will remain. I will not be moved by storms." If you can learn to read this, you will never again doubt the presence of affection in silence. You will recognize that sometimes the most powerful love is the one that speaks the least. And if this message resonates with you, if you have ever felt unseen, misunderstood, or longed for deeper clarity in relationships, then let this be a gentle reminder. Affection is not always loud, but it is always real. At Awaken Mindset, our mission is to uncover truths like this, to guide you toward clarity and to help you build relationships rooted in depth, not performance. If this video touched something within you, I invite you to support our channels, subscribe, share, and explore our playlists. Together, we can learn to see love not just in words, but in the quiet power of the gaze.